Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and gentlemen, thank you for your service and your desire to serve your country further. Very much appreciate it. I want to thank the families as well. It's not always a sacrifice for both the people involved in serving, but also their families, so I want to thank all of you as well. Mr. Divelson, I appreciated our meeting the other day in my office. As you and I talked about, I focused a lot on the Arctic, but we've been focusing a lot on the Arctic as a country now, discussions on what's happening up there. I was, as I mentioned, a little bit disappointed that the NDS, despite having spoken to the Pentagon leadership about making sure we had a strong Arctic component, it wasn't that strong. I was actually disappointed by the limited focus, particularly given what's going on in the Arctic. As you and I talked about, we have this chart. These are the ADIZ and EEZ incursions. I'll get the specifics here. This is Russian and Chinese incursions into the Arctic, also known as Alaska, my state. That's in the last 3 or 4 years. Look at that, Matt. By the way, we had one just last week. This is updated. Last week we had 5 Russian aircraft enter our ADIZ, 2 strategic bombers, prompting NORAD to dispatch 2 F-16s, 2 F-35s, 4 KC-135s, and an E-3 to go intercept those Russian bombers. And the real concerning one, and when you look at this chart, the green is joint Russian-Chinese task forces. So those are strategic bomber task forces, Russia and China, and naval task forces. One as big as 12 ships. They don't do joint strategic task forces anywhere else, as I can tell, certainly in the United States, but in the world. But they're doing it in my neck of the woods, which is America's neck of the woods, which is what you're going to be in charge of. So how important do you view the Arctic in your overall defense strategy, and how are you going to make sure it's more seriously reflected in the strategy documents? Again, in my state, it's big news. The Russians are in our ADIZ last weekend. And by the way, a shout out to the great men and women who serve in the military in Alaska. They go up and intercept these guys every single time. Those are tough missions, right? When you're flying above the Arctic Ocean in February and it's 40 below zero and you're flying an F-16 with a single engine, you lose that engine, you're punching out over the Arctic Ocean in the middle of the night. It's usually night there anyways because it's still dark. Those are tough missions, and our military does it every time. But help me out here. I was disappointed, as I said, in the NDS, especially because there's so much going on. I mean, yeah, we got to protect the southern border, but damn it, the northern border is pretty busy. Just ask the Russians and the Chinese. What are we going to do on that? And I need your commitment in a big way to step up the focus.
Senator, first, I want to commend your work on this issue area because this is vitally important to Homeland Defense, to U.S. national interest.
This is the definition of Homeland Defense. When the Russians and Chinese are probing our airspace and our waters, I don't know if there's any more higher priority to get them the hell out of there.
I completely agree, Senator. And Alaska is vital to the defense of the other 49 states. Alaska is our homeland. So I understand the disappointment as far as not mentioning Alaska by name in the National Defense Strategy, but I want to assure you, Senator, as we create implementing frameworks and further on guidance to our forces, we absolutely want to make sure that Alaska is a part of that because it's a pillar of what we're looking at for a regional strategy. If confirmed, Senator, I would love to work with your staff, receive input from you directly on how we can better write that framework to reflect the importance of Alaska.
Great, I appreciate that, and thank you. I want to give another shout out. This committee, actually, a number of years ago, worked on setting up, you know how the Department of War has regional centers of expertise. We have them all over the world, Europe, Latin America. We have now the Regional Center for the Ted Stevens Center, named after the late, great U.S. Senator from Alaska, for Arctic security issues. They're doing a great job. They're at JBER. They built up, but that's under your purview. It's part of the Department of War. So can I get a commitment from you to use that resource, the Ted Stevens Center at JBER to help you on this. They're a great convening force and really becoming the center of gravity on national security in the Arctic for the whole world.
You're absolutely right, Senator. Mr. Churchkey, the director of the center, we speak regularly. He's done fantastic work, and his team is great. And if confirmed, Senator, you have my commitment to continue using them as a resource and having their inputs into our different strategy documents.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll have additional questions for the record.